Things not to do in Venice. The popularity of Venice as a tourist destination in Italy is evident. Anyone entering Venice is instantly captivated by its beauty. There's a glow to it. The light reflects off it. The city is not just built entirely on canals, but it's also a city whose science and history are all influenced by the region's waterways. All that glimmer and shine belies the dark corners and less than ideal experiences hidden beneath. Traveling to such a wonderful place comes with great responsibility. There are many rules to be followed when visiting Venice. So to make your time worthwhile, here are things not to do in Venice. Don't swim in the canals. In addition to being illegal, this is a bad idea for a number of reasons. The concept of swimming in a public waterway as opposed to a boat slip seems like common sense, but tragically, tourists are constantly fined for this. There can be no doubt about it. This is a terrible idea, regardless of how inviting the water may seem. A passing boat would be able to cause serious injury to you because the canals are public roads. Putting any body parts into water is also a bad idea for number 2. It's disgusting. Due to the volume of boat traffic and the potential loss of garbage as well as the age of these waterways, the waterway is far from being bacteria-free. Despite the heat, resist the urge. Do not block the streets. Nothing is more annoying to the Venetians than tourists taking up the entire passageway while walking slowly. Permesso will be shouted in a loud voice by the locals indicating, "Step aside, let me through." However, the tourists might not understand and cannot grasp why this local suddenly became furious. It's important to remember that some people have to get to work or to meetings on time. Even though the bus is late and the running isn't as good as it used to be, when walking along city streets, give faster feet a little extra room to overtake and you'll be fine. Do not stand and block the peretta captain. It used to be common for Venice's water buses to have front-facing seats. The Grand Canal can be viewed unobstructed if you sit in one of these seats. The world began to need its own rendition of the Rialto of the Accademia, or the Cadoro, as more and more people became acquainted with phone cameras. Over time, more and more people began standing up in the front row to take pictures. Because of the fact that people stand up in these seats, this became a problem. They blocked the captain's vision. A small part of Venice's decision to stop using boats with front seats had to do with this. Do not bring a rolling suitcase. If you're a light traveler, this may be a difficult concession to make, but you'll need to get your upper body stronger, and at the very least pick up a wheeled suitcase with its handle while walking. In the amphitheater-like acoustics of stone on stone, imagine the obtrusive cacophony of rolling bags above the soft echo of your gentle footsteps. Additionally, rolling your luggage is now illegal, not strictly enforced, but indeed illegal. As a courtesy measure for visitors, despite allowing cruise ships, the powers that be won this one and managed to charge a €500 fine to anyone caught rolling luggage in a city that allows cruise ships. Now, these next don'ts in Venice are not specifically illegal. These are the best and smart ways to enjoy the magnificent beauty of the city. Do not ride the gondolas. Venice is synonymous with its gondolas. Watching them cruise up and down the canals on their red velvet-lined gondolas is an unforgettable experience. It's impossible to miss the experience of riding inside one. In reality, riding inside a gondola is considerably less idyllic than it might seem on your Venetian bucket list. Prices increase after 7 p.m. on gondola rides, which cost at least €80 for 30 minutes. Venice is a romantic city, but entering a gondola with strangers for 30 minutes packed inside a small boat isn't an ideal way to find romance. There's an additional cost if you want a gondolier who will sing for you. It'd be far more enjoyable to spend those euros on a romantic dinner along a quiet canal with gondoliers singing purely for their own entertainment. Take a vaporetta instead. Just remember to not block the captain's sight. The water buses are a great way to explore the Grand Canal, and they cost €30 for 2 days of transportation, so you can do it all. You should try a traghetto if you're determined to find a gondola ride. These black gondolas serve 7 points along the Great Canal as traghettos, meaning ferries in Italian. Do not visit on the weekends or in the summer. Visit the city during the week if you can, rather than on the weekends. The main tourist attractions, such as churches and cathedrals, are closed because of the influx of tourists and the need to provide local services. As more Italians travel during this period for their mini-break getaways during the weekends, hotels are usually much more expensive during this time, so you'll save money too. The seaside city of Venice experiences extremely muggy summers. There are many people around, so the temperature appears 10 times hotter than they actually are. Throughout the day, cruise ships are in and out of the ports, bringing with them day trippers who affect the attitudes of locals as well. In addition, Ferragosto will be celebrated in August, which means humid weather and closed restaurants, shops, and bars. This is why many of the natives leave, leaving the city to be flooded with tourists who flood the city during this period. Winter, spring, or fall are the best seasons to visit Venice. Do not eat in St. Mark's Square. There are plenty of scams and ways to overcharge customers in the smallest of restaurants in any big city, especially near those huge tourist attractions. St. Mark's Square's beautiful cafes, which make for beautiful photographs, should be avoided at all costs, mostly for their high prices. Because of their location, these cafes charge a sitting surcharge in addition to their overpriced items. Always ask if a cover charge applies whenever you enter a cafe. It is their responsibility to reveal this to you if you ask, so do not be embarrassed to ask. Check before you sit down if the cover charge isn't too bad and the overpriced drinks are worth the view. Don't forget to check the bill before you sit down to prevent a surprisingly large bill. And speaking of scams and overchargers, here are also some tourist traps that should also be kept in mind. The free glass factory tourist scam. Venetian glass is known throughout the world for its quality, popularity, but however, attracts those who want to take advantage of it. A number of vendors advertise free trips to Murano to visit various glass factories in San Marco. You cannot get anything for free in this world. The salespeople of these companies will put enormous pressure on you to pre-purchase some of their glass when you arrive at the Murano glass factories, which are often less reputable. In some cases, they guilt trip you into going to Murano because they provided you with a free 45-minute ride. Buying a piece of glasswork you generally love becomes difficult when you have to deal with this. In many of these factories, pieces are constructed by artisans who are just there for show. The glasswork they produce comes in large part from China. A good way to determine if what you're buying is real is to check the price. It's not uncommon for something that seems too good to be true to be fake. The tourist menus. They're restaurants that may seem tempting, but they should be avoided, especially if they have photos of the food and a friendly face outside trying to entice you inside. If a restaurant advertises tourist menus, stay away from them, as these are traditional Venice tourist traps, even frozen food at astronomical prices. Further, staying away from restaurants with large menus written in capital letters and translated in different languages is a good idea. A local wouldn't know what local dishes look like if they saw a colored menu with images. Don't you think the pictures were designed for tourists? There is no better bait for fishing disoriented tourists than this. The illegal street vendors. Many European cities such as Venice have illegal street vendors selling fake designer merchandise. Such items include handbags and sunglasses. If you're caught buying these items, you could be faced with a substantial fine. In addition to the poor quality of the products, if you really want to buy something to get home and give to your loved ones, it's best to follow the locals as they will always lead you to a legit shop. With those tips in mind, you will surely have a wonderful time in this city. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.